Well, good afternoon or good evening to some. Welcome to this special Island Stat Sports Talk. I'm your host, Earl Bisden. Joining me is Donovan Dyer. Donovan is a race car driver, moved up from karting now to a race car driver. Donovan, first of all, thank you for joining. I want to start off by taking you back. You mentioned to me earlier that when we were talking about you getting a start, and one of the starts was karting. You didn't kart in Bermuda, but you did move abroad to kart. Give us the background behind that, the move to karting in the UK.
So I moved to the UK because as I was very young when I wanted to start karting, there isn't a lot of availability in Bermuda.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in England, there's a lot of options and championships, and there's also academies that I was gunning to join. And in order to do that, I needed a lot of experience in karting. So I moved to England to get more wider range of opportunities to kart, and it served me well. I won a few championships in my first few years. And ever since then, it's kind of just been snowballing, and I got into the academy I wanted to. So I definitely don't regret moving to England to kart. I think it was one of the best decisions for my career personally that I could have done. But I do wish that I can come back to Bermuda and do some karting there as well.
Sure. One of the things I'm interested in is the opportunities. When you would have harnessed this interest in karting, you go to the UK. Was it what you expected, or did you have to quickly adjust to certain things within karting that you may have thought or you didn't realize when you were in Bermuda?
Yeah, so I think one of the hardest things here compared to Bermuda was the conditions. Obviously, Bermuda's nice and sunny 90% of the time. And there's it's everything's seasonal, whereas in England, the weather can change by the snap of a finger.
Mm-hmm.
And also how powerful the karts are here. And at such a young age, I had to kind of adapt.
Right.
But I think the hardest thing to get used to moving to England was definitely the conditions. But other than that, I think it's very similar to Bermuda. Competitive wise, it's very close. There's no one that's really far ahead. But I think the hardest thing was definitely conditions moving to England.
Mm. Well, you do a few years in a kart, and then you want to now move. You're progressing, and you want to now move into a car. A little more speed, a little more horsepower, and so forth.
Yeah.
But take us through the period between the karting and now the car racing, because you did mention to me that it was a 3-year period where people were hiring you to do testing of their vehicles.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
That was after my karting years.
Mm-hmm.
I joined a racing academy. And opportunities kind of came from there because it's the big governing racing body that
Mm-hmm.
was running the academy. And obviously they have lots of publicity. They have thousands of followers on Instagram and Facebook. And, people look out on their websites for young drivers that they can hire.
Right.
And fortunately for me, with my background with karting, I got a lot of opportunities with Praga and Ginetta, which are like some of the peak racing brands in England,
Mm-hmm.
as well as some McLaren stuff every now and again. But yeah, it was mainly the academy that helped me boost my profile and got me a lot of jobs that is basically just you drive around a car for a whole day and telling them what needs to be changed or what's great about the car and if it's reliable. And it's a lot more brain power
Mm-hmm.
than regular racing because you have a lot more to think about rather than just going fast.
Yeah. And then now you're in the racing scene, your first full year on the racing scene. What was it like getting into this year's racing? Because obviously you have to do a lot of work in preparation. I noted in your bio, you're doing a lot of this, out of pocket.
Yeah.
You're working 2 and 3 jobs, and you're trying to see your future and reach your goals and so forth. But take us through that lead up, because obviously it's got to be a lot of stress on you, trying to accomplish one, make the deadline, two, get a car to make the deadline, and be ready to start racing from, I guess, race day one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely not easy, to be honest, and it's a lot of physical training as well as financial preparation and mental preparation.
Hmm.
Um, so ever since I knew that I was, luckily for me, a few teams reached out to me saying they had a car I could use.
Hmm.
So it's not like I had to build a car, which obviously takes off a lot of stress.
Hmm.
But still, the funding side's been it's been a not the easiest thing. So I've been taking up a lot of odd cash in hand jobs as well as working my regular job, um, and it's not easy. But as well as keeping my body maintained, so going to the gym almost every day, as well as watching loads of videos to get my head and my muscle memory into the car so I can hit the track running as soon as I get out. It's not it's a lot of hard work, and I think the common misconception with motorsport is that it's one of the easiest sports, and I think that's wrong. It's a lot of hard work. You lose a lot of water weight in the car, especially when it's a hot day. And it's just a lot of mental preparation of I just need to focus on this and everything else can come afterwards. So it kind of engrosses your whole life, and it is taking over my life, but it's the career that I want to go down, so I'm completely content with that.
Sure, sure. You've been running hot, as we say, leading up to a race that starts tomorrow, right? Or
Yeah,
yeah,
it's racing
yeah.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, but you've run into a little bit of problems because you've lost an engine. Now you need some help in kind of getting back into race mode. You've been able to get back for tomorrow's race, but the problem still exists, kind of thing. Am I right?
Yeah, so it's we are lucky that my team's very supportive,
Hmm.
um, and they've been able to, even though we haven't got the funds completely, we're still behind by a lot. They were like, because I'm in the running for the championship, and they were like, we need to get you out.
Hmm.
So we've given them as much as we can so far, but we're still, in a deep hole. So
Right.
it's very much that I still needs a lot of support.
Hmm.
Um, but I think my performance this weekend, I think, is very much. It's very hard to get swapped out of the I need support and then
Hmm.
swap into the I need to finish this weekend and get the results I need.
Hmm.
And that's very difficult, definitely, because it's like I don't have the spare money to be very aggressive. Um, but it's very hard mentally to switch in between. But I think I'm starting to get the hang of it. But yeah, it's not. I'm not just like I don't just because I've got out for this weekend. I don't just have. I'm fully set for the season. We're still
Hmm.
very far behind and need a lot of support to even be able to compete for the rest of the championship.
Yeah, yeah. Where do you sit on the pool right now?
Um, like 3 to 4 grand probably. And yeah, it's a lot of money definitely, but every little bit helps.
Hmm.
And I mean, I'm very thankful for the support I've had so far. And they aren't. They've got there's lots of names on the car so far, but I'll happily take on more.
Hmm.
Um, and I really love the support I'm having so far, and I can't wait to get more in the future.
Yeah. Where can one, if they wanted to donate, where could they donate?
So I have a GoFundMe set up right now,
Uh-huh.
and that's where a lot of the support's mainly put onto. And then when you support the GoFundMe, you'll get your name on the car, and obviously that'll, even if it's not like your business, you'll still have your name reaching like thousands of people that see my
Mhm.
Instagram and the live streams. So yeah, the GoFundMe right now is the main way to support me. But we have there's a lot of companies that are reaching out to give me profiles. So there's other ways to support me, not just GoFundMe.
Yeah, yeah. And well, let's talk a little bit about the racing because I want to make sure that you're focused on that. I know you've got this other issue of funding as one, but well, when you get in the car seat, you have to be focused fully on racing per se. And I want to get you back into that mode as you are racing tomorrow. When you're test driving or when you're doing practice driving and so forth, what's one of the things you focus on the most as you prepare for a race day?
I think the thing I focus on personally the most is car setup,
Hmm.
because me personally, I always perform a lot better in the race and in qualifying than in practice days. So
Okay.
on practice days, I mainly focus on, does the car feel right? Is the car going to be okay for tomorrow? And then on the day, I usually focus on my lines in my racing, because I can
Hmm.
usually switch on a mode. It's very weird, but I can usually switch on a mode on the race day that's completely different from a test day.
Right.
So I mainly focus on the car and how the car feels rather than how my driving is on the day.
Mm-hmm. And for the transition for you, what was that like from racing karts to now racing a car? How has that transition been for you personally?
Yeah, that was difficult, because in a car there's like two main things you can change,
Hmm.
whereas in a car there's so many things you can change. There's so many variables as well. Um, and luckily for me, that even when I was karting, I still had a lot of car things going on behind the scenes, alongside kart racing. Um, so could still, transition quite easily, but it was still very difficult transitioning from karting to cars, because there's just like, it's trying to explain to someone something so easy that you think is in your head, but they have no clue what you're on about.
Hmm.
It's very difficult, but I got the hang of it after, you know, doing a lot of the testing for a lot of companies, because they kind of
Right.
explained it in easier ways.
Right. Yeah. Now, when you look at the position you find yourself in your first season in racing, are you surprised by what you've been able to accomplish?
Um, I think because I've always been on the back foot, I came into the season thinking I just want to finish the season.
Hmm.
But honestly, I think the fact that I'm fighting for the championship in my class is incredible. And I didn't think that I'd be able to. And I want to thank the team's giving me a great opportunity and a great car so far this season.
Hmm.
And I think I've also developed my driving skills very well. And that's just helped me the whole season, and it's really given me an edge. And it's put me in the running for the championship, it's not where I thought I would be, but I'm glad
Hmm.
that I am where I am.
Yeah. The opportunities that you've had thus far in the car, and you find yourself somewhere different tonight in preparation for tomorrow's race, the moving around kind of thing, how has that set you? Obviously, it's a big financial burden as well, but how does that set you when you have to figure out, okay, I need to be here on this date, overnight, race 2 days, get back, and so forth? How is that setting up for you?
I think it's not as hard as people think it is, because I think because racing's taken over my whole life,
Hmm.
I've got a lot of people supporting me, and my job already knows about my racing and stuff. So they're very lenient with, I'm like, I have to be here on this date, and then looking for hotels and stuff. Luckily we have schedules,
Right.
so we can book them very far in advance, so I can kind of put it to the back of my head.
Hmm.
And especially when fighting for championships, it's the last thing you want to stress about is finding a hotel.
Right.
um so yeah, it's very, I'm thankful that I have a lot of people supporting me, and they can also help me find stuff. But yeah, it's not as difficult as I thought it would be. Obviously because we have schedules, but yeah.
Hmm. Who's some of the people that you've admired driving in your young career?
I think my childhood hero has always been Lewis Hamilton. I mean, it
Hmm.
sounds kind of cliche, but I've been watching him since I was a kid, and he's always been a great driver in my eyes. And
Hmm.
when I met him not that long ago, I think he really solidified the fact that he's not also a great driver, but he's also a great person
Right.
off the track. And I think that's who I want to be. Is not just on track I'm a good driver, but also a very down to earth person off of track. And he's always been my role model on and off track. So that's who
Right.
I really idolize.
Yeah. Well, he's not having the season, I guess he or you would like to have right now, but you see how he's handling the type of pressure because everybody says he should be a lot higher than where he is, being that he's in a new car and this that and the other. But how much of how he's handling himself do you look at yourself to be able to handle different situations? Because eventually, things go good, things go bad, and then everything goes around in full circles. But how do you think he's handling, and what have you learned how to handle what he's going through in his career right now?
Yeah, I think he's been at the top for so long, um, that not being at the top's kind of taking a toll.
Hmm.
But I think that the way he's handling it is, I took a lot of inspiration from when my engine just blew up, because it was
Right.
kind of like he's under so much pressure, just like I am, and he's still
Right.
handling it, modestly good. And I kind of looked at it and looked at his interviews, and he was like, yes, he's put a lot of pressure on himself, but it's also things happen, and
Hmm.
he's still expecting himself to bounce back. And I think that's why the incident at Alton where my engine just went, um, it hit me hard, because I was like, that could be my season over. However,
Hmm.
I looked at how he was handling it, and it was like, okay, it could be a lot worse. At least I still have a chance.
Yes.
So in the back of my head, it was like, I still have a chance, and I just want to focus on the future, because it can always be worse than what it is. Um, and the fact that I still have the opportunity to battle for the championship this weekend is still incredible. So I didn't put it behind me, because it's still taking a toll, because
Hmm.
I know there's things I could have done better, but I know that I can always improve, and I can always bounce back to, whereas some people can't. So um, yeah, I've taken a lot of inspiration from him, and how positive he still is, even though it's not going the way he wants to.
Yeah. Who are some of the people who have helped you thus far that you really want to thank up until, to where they've gotten you to this point?
I think my family, first of all, like all the Dyers, I think have been very helpful.
Hmm.
And a lot of my cousins abroad and my mother, they were very helpful supporting me, especially when my engine blew, and it was a very mental health hit,
Hmm.
because it was just like, I thought my season was over and there was nothing. And I reached out to a lot of people, and they were all so welcoming and kind. And I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's supported me so far, and everyone who's donated. And it's not going to waste, because I will make sure that it all goes to a good performance this weekend. And yes, it's a lot of pressure putting on myself, but I know it's well deserved pressure, because people are donating their own personal money to me,
Hmm.
um, and I just want to make sure that they're getting the most out of it.
Yeah, yeah. What will be a dream weekend? Well, it's not even a weekend because it's Friday, Saturdays, but what will be a dream weekend for you um, come the 9th and 10th?
Yeah, I think a dream weekend would be a dream weekend would be first in my class the whole weekend.
Hmm.
Um, but I think what I'm aiming for right now is to finish the whole weekend first,
Okay.
and just get points on the board, because there's still 2 rounds left.
Yes.
And I think the aim is to be within reach of the championship by the last round, and then we'll put everything on the table and hope for the best.
Hmm.
But obviously, we need the support to get there, so that'll be it. It'll depend on the people, I guess, rather than myself. But
Right.
I think a dream weekend would be finish high in the points all weekend and first in class and just close the gap, even if it was a little bit.
Yeah. So is it 2 races a day?
Yeah, so there's 2 races tomorrow, and then on
Mhm.
Sunday there's 1 race.
Okay. All right. All right. And you should have a day in between to catch yourself and be ready for Sunday. But I want to wish you all the best. We'll stay
Thank
in
you.
touch. We'll see how you make out tomorrow. And how did you have a chance to test today?
Yeah, we got the engine in at lunch. So we did the last 2 sessions and it went really well. The car felt quick and I think I was performing how I wanted to. So it
Okay.
really went well. But yeah, it's down to tomorrow and Sunday, hopefully. So
Okay. All right. All right. Well, yeah, again, all the best, and we'll be in touch, and we'll keep a track on how you make out this weekend. Good luck.
okay, thank you.
All right. Talk to
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.